While we regularly inspect our rigging looking for any developing problems, hopefully before they happen, this time we decided to pay for a professional rig check before embarking on our next adventure. Follow along as Darren the Yacht Rigger explains the entire process from what he's looking for to the very detailed report and insurance certificate he provides clients. Along the way, he points out a number of improvements we can do on our Dreamtime to make her rig even stronger. So Darren, you're here to do a rig check on our Dreamtime.
Our Dreamtime rig check. It's time before you head off. Absolutely.
And I guess you recommend it to anybody that's, you know, the riggings. Our riggings, I think, is 6 years old. So probably time.
It's time, but I think an annual rig check, especially before the cruising season, is well worth it. Peace of mind, absolutely. Someone else's eye, a bit of critique, looking at those things that you think she'll be right.
Yep.
May not be, she'll be right. And especially, as you know, if we hit a blow or some sort of additional forces, we want to make sure that we're well and truly covered. We don't want something coming down. We don't want any issues. This should be an enjoyable pastime, so let's make sure we're safe.
Absolutely. I mean, the worst thing you need to do is go out there with, oh, we should have got that done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wish I should have. Yeah.
I wish I should have.
Yeah. Our Dreamtime's a catch. So 2 masts, 2 sets of everything. Does that give you a bit more to do?
Gives us a bit more to do, but the nice thing about that being the catch is that we know that small main at the rear does so much for us. You know, so an excellent small sail, but once again, we've got to allow for those forces. We've got 2 sets of forces going on, so unfortunately, it costs a little bit more to do a catch, maybe a little bit more for rigging, that sort of thing, but you know, the advantages of having that extra sail.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
It is.
You know?
So much more sail playing that we've got.
So what's the process?
Process is we start with a visual check, have a bit of a walk around, see what jumps out at us. Then myself, I run my verniers on all your cable to make sure that we've got the same diameter, the same style of cable. I've done a couple now where there's been completely different diameters that are supposedly the same diameters. There's been different styles, 1x19, 7x7, 7x19, which shouldn't be there. Whether they've been, you know, compressed or diformed compared to standard. The other thing I do also is I run my loose gauge around to have a look at your tensions. Now the loose gauge is only a guide, but what it does is it provides us a bit of a baseline to understand what tensions you've got existing now and what forces are generated in the wire for a percentage to give us our strength rating.
Okay.
Yeah, so not many people do that. Unfortunately, the loose gauge doesn't go any higher than 10 mil, but it's just a guide, that's for sure. All right.
But so it does tell us what...
Gives us a bit of a baseline on port, starboard, bow, stern, where are our similarities in our tensions.
Okay.
And they should be similar. We should have similar tensions in similar stays.
Okay.
Uppers, lowers, intermediates, rears, you know, that sort of thing. We should have similar tensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the sort of report that we'll get?
So what I do is I do a quite a comprehensive report and run, which is all photographic. So for example, Boracay, which I've just done in Bundaberg, Tracy and Aaron, they won't mind me sharing. So that's quite a detailed report, photographic, comments, sizes, dimensions, and that's just a Roberts 40.
Yep.
That's the sort of thing. And then if you need an insurance certificate,
yes.
I issue a certificate separately if everything's okay.
Yep.
And especially if it is less than 10 years.
Our Dreamtime is in that 6 years, it's sat out 2 years totally, sitting in a marina.
Exactly.
Once while we went overseas ourselves and left the boat behind, and,
yes.
and last year while we had some health issues to deal with, so we sat out a season.
Of course.
Does that change the lifespan of a rigging or not?
The environment that we are in, as you know, it's one of those environments that will always cause some sort of problems. Corrosion, dissimilar metals, we've all got that going on, that chemical reaction, certainly getting that fresh water on, getting the lube on, keeping things moving, those poor old sheaves, that sort of thing, pins. And if you can't do that, then that's where that annual check comes in. I think it's really important.
And
but
that's what people don't understand, is that they think boat's just sat there, it hasn't actually done any work, so there should be no reason my rigging is in need of repair.
No, possibly no additional loadings, of course,
That's
or
right.
substantial loadings, but we've got those environmental conditions, and we've also got that UV, because, for example, we don't want a topping lift breaking and having a boom come crash down.
Absolutely.
I did a boat recently where the owner was concerned with spending the money on a topping lift, and once the topping lift was actually removed and demonstrated how UV degraded it was, the value of that small amount of rope really to keep that boom up was really important.
I mean, the running rigging's the cheapest part of the boat.
It is, Rob. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't. I've seen Bunnings ropes. I've seen.
My goodness.
Oh boy! You know, the comment was, "It looks like double braid."
It's pretty. It's so pretty, those colours.
It was green and white, and it looked like double braid. But when you pull that back and you see a very poor quality Chinese-made inner that is not UV stabilised, we don't want that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we've replaced most of our running rigging not so long ago. The halyard is original when we were re-rigged, so we'll get to have a look at it, but we're planning on 6 years old now. We're planning on replacing that one before we head off.
Yeah, I think those that do the work, that hold things up, so those halyard styles, they are crucial. And I think 5 years sitting in the sun. So if you and I, no sunscreen, sat out in the sun for 5 years, how would we go? How would we go?
You'd look like I
That's too many sailing years.
do. I'm 40.
Yeah, right. And you used to be 6'2".
Yeah, pretty much. And a lot stronger.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah, so that's exactly what happens to the poor old halyards.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. Then the selection between, you know, a normal polyester double braid, something with Dyneema, some of the specialty ropes, you know, there are pros and cons for dollars, for splicing, for not splicing. There are a whole heap of those issues. And
that was one of the questions I was going to ask you about splicing, is I'm doing our extension lines through for our preventers today, but I would just, before I started doing all the work on them, there was going to be a question to you on how we should be doing them.
Yeah, look, if you can avoid a splice, I would avoid a splice, because the thing is, it is a join.
Yes.
And as good as the skills are, we have a couple of things. We have a diameter change. We potentially end up with some sort of hourglassing. We end up with some sort of lumps and bumps that the sheaves don't like.
Yep.
And if the splice is not substantial, which it should be virtually 5% less than the rope's overall strength with no knot on it,
Yep.
or the same strength, then don't splice.
Yep.
Buy a new piece of rope. You know, it's not that expensive.
Yep.
You know, for sure.
So is there anything else we need to know before you start?
No, well, the thing about my style is that I'm self-sufficient on your masts. I do my lower level first, and then I go in the air. So there's no winching. I don't need you to huff and puff. I am self-sufficient, self-propelled up and down the masts, and all I need you to do is just be around, so that if I need some comment or some input from you, that you're available.
Yep.
That's all.
Fabulous.
Okay.
And Darren, your background before you got into the marine rigging?
Well, so a long story short, but Chippy, and then from Chippy into the industrial rope access. Had a height safety and rope access company doing building maintenance for a long time. Advanced rigger as far as rigging goes, so dual crane lifts, you know, big rigging, commercial rigging. Then went through and did my online course with a UK company that provides a certificate for sails and rigs. So I've done that, and blend those rope skills, hand skills, and also the love of sailing. And here I am.
So you're used to being in the air?
Absolutely, yeah. Recorded over 22,000 hours of suspended work so far.
I'm glad that's you. I'm glad
recorded.
that's you up there, Spider-Man, and not me, because I don't like heights.
That's why we employed you.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Okay, well
Let's rip in. Let's get it
get
done.
in.
Fantastic. All right. Your head sail's twisted, Karen.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah, that's not good. That's bad loading there, mate, on that
Yep.
wire web. I won't
Okay.
take a photo of that. You just let's fix that, mate.
Yep.
Right, so because these are the uppers, so 30, so we're in here, so it's sort of, 16%, 920, so about a tonne,
Yep.
that's about right, that's okay, no problems.
Oh,
So 32,
two.
yeah. So we've got a little bit of variation there in the tensions. And like I say, the loose gauge doesn't tell you the answer. What it does is just highlights that there's a bit of a change in the
Yeah.
tensions. I think what we need to do there, Karen, is one, we've got a bit of damage, a bit of environmental issues here, but also we've got a bit of loading on the Brumble. So what we should do is actually have them two separate slings, two separate eyes. Having the soft eye connection straight to the pad eye, that also eliminates the potential cross loading or some sort of weird loading onto here. And just to absorb a little bit of energy, let's put a cow hitch down here on each of our pad eyes to our connection, and that'll absorb a little bit of energy along with our double braid. So let's do that. So Karen, we've got a couple of issues. We've got some torsional load, we've got a slight bend in our cleat, we've certainly got a bend in our shackle, we've got a fully threaded bolt, and we've got a potential pin failure on our 3-sheaf block right there. So overall this system needs a little bit more universal joint here, some Dyneema, some sort of flexibility in the system, and an upgrade into a much larger, much stronger sheave system in there. So I think that's wise.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yesterday we had Darren Carter on board to do a solid rig check with us. And a rig check for us is not just somebody that comes along, looks at each little bit and goes, yeah, you're all good. We wanted someone that went over Our Dreamtime with a fine-tooth comb, and we trusted Darren to do that. He has spent thousands of hours in the air trusting his gear for him to hang off high-rise buildings. So when he talks about rigging, he talks about safety with you as well. So that to us was so very important. We got a full bill of health, thank goodness, for Our Dreamtime, and he said we are ready to go cruising. However, there were some little things that we need to look at, and there were some maintenance issues that we need to address. Those maintenance issues aren't going to stop us going sailing, but what they're going to do is they're going to extend the life of our rigging. Our rigging is now 6 years old, so we need to make sure that we do look after it so that we get those extended years of cruising. As we all know, rigging is one of the most expensive things on a sailboat. Something Darren was very particular about was ULD, Uniform Load Distribution. And this is something we didn't even realise that we needed to be looking at. Here he showed us a clear example. You can see here, this is our chain plate going through the deck, sealed, but this here is where all our load is on one side instead of being central. To do that is a very easy fix. We just need to mark our turnbuckle where it's currently fitted, loosen the turnbuckle off, take out the bolt, fit the nylon on each side, put it back together and turn our turnbuckle back to the same fitting. Now that we understand that importance, we will be doing every single one of our shrouds, and on our Dreamtime, being a catch, we've got quite a few. On our Dreamtime, we run a preventer system, which is a double preventer system, and it is all run back to the cockpit. This is a safety feature for us so that we don't have to come out of the cockpit during heavy weather. We control it all in the cockpit. One of the things that Darren picked up with us was not that we were doing something incorrect, but something that we can improve our system with. People have actually asked why we have this extension and we don't take our preventer directly through to the tow rail. The reason is we need that universal load distribution, and this actually provides it for us. However, what Darren did point out was that we actually don't, because we have the shackle, which has limited movement. His suggestion is that we go for a Dyneema all the way through, and the Dyneema is cow hitched through the tow rail adjuster and straight up to the preventer. This was another area that is of extreme importance on the boat. It takes an awful lot of load, these triple blocks. We have our main sheet and our two preventers that run through this triple. So what Darren identified is that this triple block hasn't got enough movement sideways or as it moves this way. Darren's solution is to use Dyneema. Dyneema will give us a soft universal joint in between this so that we have a lot more movement.
Darren was obviously very thorough. I mean, we've had a problem with a triple block originally and it blew apart.
Yes, that's correct.
That's why we put the extra shackle in there and everything, but now he's pointed it out, we can still that flex.
Yes.
Good thing I like is most of the things that he's told you about, he's also told you how we can fix them.
That's correct.
We don't have to be paying a rigger to do it.
No, not at all.
Even the aerial work, you know, he said, okay, that needs to be done. Well, I put my hand up and said, that's fine, you can do it. I don't particularly want to go up there, and I don't go up the mast unless I have to.
No, there's no reason to.
I go up for a look regularly, etc.,
Yes.
but I'm not scared of heights. It's just I'm not agile enough anymore to be hanging from a bosun's chair and doing things effectively. So
Hey, come on, you did the lights really well. I'm proud of you.
well, I'm happy to pay Darren to get that part
Yeah,
done.
absolutely.
The rest of it, you know, we're a catch, so we've got two of everything. So everything that Karen talked about regarding the shrouds up here, it's the same story down back. It's the same story with the mizzen preventers as it is with the main preventers. And we're just going to work our way through all of those before we go cruising. So in the next 2-3 weeks, we've got plenty to do.
We do. The list just got longer.
But the good news is we're going to get out of here extremely confident of the rig and everything. And
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to be able to trust your boat. If you can't trust your boat, you're not going to be
Safe.
comfortable. You're not going to feel right.
You're not going to feel safe. Every time you put that sail out in 25, 30 knots, you're going to go, oh, seriously, how good was that rig check? Now I know that rig check was A1. Thanks, Darren.
So we've completed our little couple of odd jobs that we needed to do after our inspection.
Excellent.
So what we need to do now is provide you some information that you can provide to the insurance companies that says that someone's had a look at it. If
Exactly.
someone says, other than yourself, that it's A-OK.
Yep.
All right. So I'm sure that in the yachting world, people wait for days, weeks, sometimes months for a report. Well,
if you can find anyone that will give you one, because many people don't want to put a signature on something that goes to the insurance company.
yeah, no, I think that's wrong. If you're diligent and you're happy with what you've seen, then why not?
Yeah.
And if you're not happy, then just let the customer know.
Yeah, well, we don't actually require a certificate for the insurance company at the moment, but what we like to do is we keep them up to date with what we do on the boat.
Yeah.
So we're going to go cruising shortly.
Yeah.
If anything did happen, they've received something that said it's all been checked before we left port.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've got pass, requires attention,
or
fail. That's correct.
Okay.
Now, because you've undertaken the works as requested,
Yeah.
it's a pass.
Yeah.
So there's no need. But
Yeah.
if it was that you wanted to get a second opinion, or
Yeah.
that you just wanted a certificate for peace of mind, you might go
So,
requires attention.
Prior to today, there was a number of things here that would have been just require attention. And
That's
they
it.
were-
There was
they were
no-
just those small things.
That's right. There was no
attended to.
fails for your
Yeah.
vessel. There was no fails, mate. You know, so that's all fine. So that's us, mate.
Fantastic. So we've got a certificate. We can send it off to Pantaneous.
Yep, exactly,
They know that we're maintaining the boat.
exactly, and it also just gives you peace of mind that someone else has come along, had a bit of a look.
Well,
and
you found
provided
things
some-
that we hadn't noticed. None of them were serious, but
No,
better
no.
to deal with now before they are serious.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. So that's that. So now it's set up in a PDF. So create that, email that.
Yep.
You have your report. That's simple. So 20 minutes, I suppose, maybe.
Yeah, and it's done.
It's done.
Done before you leave.
Yeah. And that's how it should be.
Oh, and it's on my phone. Excellent. Well, thanks, Darren.
No worries. Anytime, mate.
Honestly, it's
Pleasure, mate.
it's great for the peace of mind.
Chocolate.
And the little tips that we've got from you have been absolutely gold. You know.
My pleasure, mate.
We would like to say a huge thank you to our virtual crew members who sail along with us on our Dreamtime through Patreon. Knowing you think enough of what we do to sign on gives us a massive boost. Your support has encouraged and helped us to invest in a whole bunch of new equipment to improve our shows. If you'd like to find out how you could join the Dreamtime crew too and get special access and other benefits, click across to our Patreon page through the link in the episode description below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click that button. It really helps us, and it's totally free. If you'd like to be notified when new episodes are published, hit that bell button as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Dreamtime Sail.